Cottage Grove High School named Jack and Larry. Hey Jack, why do you think people are so attracted to these old covered bridges? Larry asked as he put away his camera. Think about it, Larry. People who live in a plastic, steel, concrete, and electronics world, trapped in traffic jams and pollution, are looking for fresh air and authenticity. That's what covered bridges are. Authentic. Every beam, every board, every plank, and every truss. Wood. And not just any wood, but wood cut from hundreds of year-old trees. Hey, nice rant, buddy, chipped in Larry. You could say these old wooden bridges are pure old-growth carbon sequestration units. Well, okay. Then there's the mysterious, slightly haunted aspect. You know, the wagon that goes into the covered bridge doesn't come out. Murder. Ellery Queen wrote that novel, The Problem of the Bridge. Oh, and Longfellow wrote that covered bridge poem, A Covered Bridge at Lucerne. Right, said Larry. Let me quote. The grave itself is but a covered bridge. Get it? We're alive now as in light, and dead as in dark, and risen again as in light. Get it? But hey, nice going and nice rant earlier, buddy. Nice, Larry exuded. But you didn't mention romance, as in the bridges of Madison County. You know, Streep and Eastwood. And speaking on behalf of our mental condition, just think, to spend an hour inside and around one of these old bridges in the countryside, imagine the history that's gone through it. Well, it's cheap therapy for a modern age. Larry wore a smug grin. Actually, that's not a bad point, said Jack. You know, I think after studying covered bridges around the world, the bridges are like Rorschach tests. Whatever's in your subconsciousness about country roads and covered bridges and history, that's what you'll feel when you see one. The bridges are mucho evocado, evocative. Each bridge casts its own spell, but what you feel is already embedded deep in your own consciousness. But if you really want to go nuts about covered bridges, what about that county we looked up on the internet in southern China that has 100 covered bridges? Pretty astounding, and old too. Like some built about the time Columbus sailed. Can you imagine a 500-year-old bridge? Any bridge? Totally. That's truly amazing. And crossing a covered bridge in China means you are getting closer to your dreams. Cool. Gotta admit, you did your homework on the bridges. Finally, Larry was quiet. Come on, let's wrap this covered bridge project up for the newspaper and get on to our main course, raising money for college. Jack finished and relaxed. He had just had the chance to download his covered bridge research on his know-it-all buddy and fellow researcher. Okay, let us go then, you and I, Larry quoted T.S. Eliot. Jack groaned. Let's get out of here. The two class of 2011 high school seniors turned away from the bridge and looked at a band of black-faced sheep grazing near the fence line made of yew logs. A blue-bellied lizard skittered on the split railings, which were half buried in red poison oak bushes. Jack and Larry walked away from the old white bridge across the river, and both stopped to admire the shower of white blossoms on the native blackberry vines. They would return later in the summer, perhaps, to find the berries hanging dead ripe by the side of the road. The afternoon was silent except for the murmuring dark green waters beneath the bridge and the humming late afternoon insects. By the way, what is your favorite covered bridge of the 20 remaining in this county? asked Larry. Pretty hard to top the Goodpasture covered bridge with the louvered windows, and it's long. It stretches way across the glittering silver water of the McKenzie River, and it can still carry a payload. It's the classic archetypal covered bridge of the western U.S., answered Jack. Bingo, right on target. The Goodpasture covered bridge is a Lane County shrine right up there with Hayward Field and Prees Rock. Can't say I disagree with you, said Larry, but if I could nominate another one, it would be the Wildcat covered bridge off Highway 126 on the Siuslaw. An exquisite little gem of a bridge. Okay, actually, it's partly sentimental. Gene and I drifted off 126 and hung out there at the bridge one night. Well, there's Belknap, not far from the hot springs, piped up Jack. Another masterpiece over the McKenzie. Well, okay, then let's talk about the Lake Creek covered bridge off Highway 36. Pastorally perfect. It looks like it could have been a scene painted by an old Flemish master. Absolutely. Then let me mention the Office covered bridge crossing the North Fork, running through West Fir with its walkway slung to the side of the bridge. Talk about a working bridge. All the workers at the West Fir mill walked that covered walkway slung out over the North Fork to get to the mill. Fine, fine, fine. Come on. I'll buy you a Dr. Pepper, said Larry. I'm a cheap date. This next one is